Hey guys, welcome back to the space station. My name is MoonBoy Gaming and today we are on another episode of MoonBoy's Meta Snapshot. So we have taken a long break and here we are back this time with a new snapshot for you guys, and boy am I excited to share it with you guys. So from this time on, we will be working together with Xiaoken. So if you guys see from this particular spreadsheet, we are tagging onto Xiaoken's spreadsheet as well. So all the competition decks and everything will be provided by him, and statistic is provided by him, and I'm actually providing the latest statistics for you guys. So if you guys are interested in looking out for competition deck or what the players are bringing in for competition or for tournament, this is the spreadsheet for you guys to check it out. So coming back to my meta snapshot, so I have lots of decks to share with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy yourself, and I do stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursdays and Sundays. Do join me on Twitch. Link and description will all be down below, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel. It will really help us a lot, so thanks so much in advance for supporting the channel. So yeah, and without further ado, let the meta snapshot begin and let the intro roll. It's MoonBoy blasting off. And we're back, people. So coming up in tier S, alright, so this meta has been really Mr. Lee focused. Mr. Lee, I meant by Lee Sin. And ever since the buff of Bastion, Mr. Lee has the one punch kickman variation, and also there is a one with partner with Zed. So both deck is really OTK focused. And let's just take a look at the Mr. Lee and Zed, right? This is Mr. Lee and Zed. This deck is by Stan. Stan is the one who has been winning lots of competition over in the NA side, and this is the list that he ran for one of the contests. And this is a fairly straightforward. We have been seeing it everywhere on the ladder, and this is the deck to beat everywhere in the game right now. So 3 copies of Zed, 3 copies of Lee Sin, 2 copies of Gift Giver, 2 copies of Spacey Sketcher, 3 copies of Eye of the Dragon, Mentor of the Stone, and Solari Priestess. So with this unit and for champions and followers lineup, the Gift Giver would be available to provide as much gem as possible, and also having an early game supporter. Spacey Sketchers could get you really good celestial cards as well. So like the one that gives spell shield, that is a really good one, especially coming in protecting Zed on turn 3 as well. And you have Eye of the Dragon. So these 3 particular units over here is very good against aggro matchup. So if you guys have like lots of aggro issue, facing pirate aggro again, Eye of the Dragon and Spacey Sketcher and Gift Giver is a very good defense against these really aggressive decks. And of course, Mentor of the Stones buffing the Lee Sin or the Zed. And all you need to do, the objective of this deck is to basically get Lee Sin up to 10 attack, and with the Dragon's Kick, you guys, and also the Overwhelm from Zenith Blade, Lee Sin could potentially do 20 damage and just OTK your opponent just like that. Alright, so this is basically the whole game plan, and Mentor of the Stone is there to allow you and facilitate you to get to the objective much faster and quicker. Solari Priestess as well, allowing you to get the Obliterate Celestial, and also the one that deal 4 and 1 to other creatures. So it allows you to be more flexible in your playstyle, or if you need units for defender and so on and so forth, Solari Priestess is always there to be that anchor to allow you to change whatever style you want to play. So moving on into the spells over here, we have lots of burst speed spell, mainly because of Lee Sin. So using burst speed to take advantage of Lee Sin having the challenger effect as soon as possible for that open attack, right? So we have Behold Infinite, Invoke, allowing you, is a toolbox mechanic. Guiding Touch, it heals your creatures, and at the same time it's a cantrip for you to draw a card. Pale Cascade is one of the more important cards over here, because with just 2 mana it could buff Lee Sin for 2 additional attack. and you know, that's the whole point, right? You get Lee Sin closer and closer to 10 attack, and also you get to draw a card which allows you to gain access to more of these cards as well, this pool of cards. So Pale Cascade, really good card, and if in a case of a mirror match, you really have to count how many Pale Cascade your opponent actually have. Then next we have Sonic Wave, and it gives ally a challenger for this round, gain a fleeting Resonating Strike. Resonating Strike gains one of your unit to attack as well, so this is also really important. And you know, both spells are gonna be burst speed just with 3 mana. You could give something challenger and give Lee another 2 attack, and Lee have both challenger and barrier at the same time. Bastion, needless to say, the most this card is like, you know, insane ever since the last buff of it, and it's probably a mistake, but hey, we have to take advantage of it. 3 mana burst speed, grant an ally +1/+1 and spell shield. What is that to say? Spell shield, you could use it defensively, reactively, or also, you know, proactively, right? So if you are facing things like freezers like Ash Sejwani, that you want to avoid it being freezed, you know, have an early Bastion, put the spell shield, permanent spell shield on that Lee Sin, and the Lee Sin would not, most likely wouldn't be freezed as easily compared to, you know, using it as a more reactive spell. Next we have Hush. Hush he does what it does. It's also a burst speed spell, and yeah, so it basically shuts off anything that's buffed, and you know, you could use it as a combat trick or defensively as well. Zenith Blade, this is the main part of the whole puzzle, right? Zenith Blade, grant an ally +1/+2 and overwhelm, draw another Zenith Blade if it's played on Daybreak. So the whole point is to add this onto Lee Sin, having that overwhelm tax, allowing the kick to pass through, and also pushing 100% damage from Lee Sin with the overwhelm as well. Basically, Lee Sin attacks twice. It's kind of like a double strike, but much better with the Zenith Blade. So this is a key card in the combination as well. 2 copies of Deny for protection, and also 2 copies of Deep Meditation for you to dig deeper into your deck for more options. And also, you know, if you like to search for Zenith Blade or Pale Cascade, Deep Meditation is the way to find them as well. So this is the top deck to beat right now, Zed Lee Sin. I feel that this is the more consistent variation of this style, but however, you know, there is another variation for Mr. Lee. We call it the One Kick Man, and it's just Lee by himself, and as you could see, it's more or less the same cards in both particular decks, but however, you know, 3 copies of Concussive Palm has been added for a little bit more defense. So the Z variation is slightly more offensive, and you know, if you could put that Zenith Blade onto a Z, and if the Z ever levels up, it's gonna be a threat as well. So you know, with this variation, it's slightly slower, right? But with the Concussive Palm, you could allow yourself to have more space for control, and also playing more defensively as well. If you could see, right, this particular list is really defensive with 3 copies of Deny, 1 copy of Hush, and 1 copy, and dropping 1 copy of Behold Infinite. So yeah, so this is the other variation if you guys would like to try. So you know, I would recommend you guys to try both variation, so that you know, you guys could understand and get a hold of what the whole gist of this deck is. But however, the way of playing it is kind of the same. Lee Sin, Zenith Blade, make Lee Sin up to 10, finish the game in OTK while Lee Sin levels up. And with the amount of, you know, burst speed spell that you have in your deck, it's gonna be really easy to reach your objective with this particular deck. So this is the deck to beat. This is the number 1 deck in the game right now, Lee Sin, One Kick Man. And now, and you know, speaking of the deck to beat, so these are the decks that could, you know, deal with this deck potentially, and they are really strong contenders for this particular deck. And first off, we have TF Swain. So this deck list has been played by Xiaoken as well. So Twisted Fate Swain, Twisted Fate, this deck has been around for a really long time, and basically the whole objective is to level up Swain, right, and also stacking it with Leviathan. So if you guys could pull off this combo before the Lee Sin deck could ever pull this off, the Lee Sin is basically stunned for the rest of the game, and you guys can control the game from then and push the game over into a landslide winning game. So with Arcanoid Sentry and things like, yeah, basically Arcanoid Sentry, and also with Swain, with lots of like Nexus damage, direct Nexus damage, and Nox and Guillotine as well. These are ways that you could deal with the Lee Sin deck, but however, you have to be really careful while playing against the Lee Sin deck with this, especially if they have 3 mana open. The Bastion is gonna be there to stop whatever damage, or like Nox and Guillotine or Ravenous Flock onto the Lee Sin as well. So basically they'll try every way to protect the Lee Sin, and you have to try every way to stun that Lee Sin and not allow it to attack as well. So yes, with the Leviathan combo, and from there you flip the game over, and that's how you win the game with this particular list. This is no old list, so this is no new list. This is nothing new to everyone basically. So yeah, you guys should try it out, and it's fairly straightforward, right? And then moving on to the next deck in S tier. So this is the deck that my favorite, right? I have been playing Pirate Aggro basically this whole season, and this variation made by Stan, I really love it. And let's check it out. Right, 2 copies of Misfortune, 3 copies of Gangplank. Usually this Pirate Aggro would usually run 3 copies of Misfortune, but Stan decided to drop one for Darius, which I personally feel is very good, right? At a late game, you're out of options. Darius is there, drop that Darius down. Your opponent has to answer to the Darius, or they are dead for that one particular turn. Right, moving on to the followers, we have 9 1-drop, guys. 9 1-drops, right? So missing turn 1 has been really rare, especially with this amount of 1-drop. So we have 3 copies of Jagged Butcher, Legion Saboteur, and also Precious Pet. And dropping Legion Saboteur on 1, especially facing decks like Lee Sin, which the only 1-drop is like the Gift Giver and the Spacey Sketcher, right? So if they actually miss the 1-drop, Legion Saboteur would get a huge advantage in terms of board and also damage. So turn 1 you deal 3 damage, but however Precious Pet, if you have Precious Pet, is still guaranteed 2 damage as well. And with the Jagged Butcher, if you could follow it up on with Imperial Demolitionist the next turn, that's also constantly dealing damage, and at the same time leveling up Gangplank even faster. Right, 3 copies of Iron Ballista. Overwhelm damage is always good, but it is still a solid 3-drop to be playing for this deck, and it's something different from the older variation of Pirate Aggro. And Iron Ballista has been showing some effort, especially pushing at least 1 damage. It doesn't matter, it's just 1 damage is still a level up on the Gangplank as well. Zep's Wayfinder, needless to say, is for it will allow you to fetch for Brothers Bond, Make It Rain, or Nocturne Fervor. So Zep's Wayfinder is there. It's an elusive target as well. It's not easy to be removed, and it even fetches you a spell and a tune as well. So with this, if you guys could combo it off with Zep's Wayfinder into Nocturne Fervor with the attune, it will allow you to access into Nocturne Fervor even faster, or even better on the same turn as well. Jack the Winner. So even though Jack the Winner got the nerf from 6 health to 5, it is still a very valuable unit. Dropping it down, and you get to sleep with the fishes as well. So if you get Jack the Winner and Legion Grenadier on board at the same time, sleep with the fishes onto the Legion Grenadier, that is the total of 3 damage just by doing nothing, right? Just by playing Jack the Winner, you got 3 direct Nexus damage. So the amount of burn Jack is providing is still it's still a lot, right? The amount of value that Jack is providing is a lot, and even though with the nerf, I see no reason still not to play it, and it's still a very good card, and you guys should try it as well. Slippery Wayfinder is just a tune and elusive target as an elusive unit. So putting it 1 copy, or I personally would remove it, and I would play 3 copies of Make It Rain instead. So but however it is still a 4/4 elusive target. It's not easy to be removed, and yeah, you guys could try this as well. 1 copy of Captain Farron. So Captain Farron is here to slay. Dropping it down on 8, it kind of guarantees the win for you, it has 8 damage overwhelm as well. And also, right, you have 3 more decimate in your hand. Like, dude, that's 12 damage without any Keck support or anything, right? So Captain Pharaon is here to close up the game for you. If you have Captain Pharaon, if you ever slam it down, you know it's gonna be GG and you would have that win that turn. And coming in with the spells, right? The spells over here, we have Brothers Bond, just 1 copy. It's just allowing you for the additional push that you need, and it could, you know, up to 4 additional damage for just 2 mana. The amount of value for Brothers Bond is just too big, especially when you have creatures like Zap Spray Spin, Ballista, Gangplank, or even Slippery Wayfinder. Brothers Bond could find its value right here in this deck as well. Make It Rain is here, you know, you could kill creatures like Petty Officer, Spacey Sketcher, and things like that. So Make It Rain is really one of it is still one of the best card in the meta right now, and that's what makes Belchwater really very scary, which is this particular card over here, Make It Rain. 3 copies of Noxian Fervor, direct maxes damage, and also Decimate. So 3 copies of Fervor, 3 copies of Decimate. That's what, 9 plus 12, that's 21 damage, yo. If you could ever pull off these 6 cards in one, in any order, you already got the win in your pocket as well. So yeah, you know, basically this is a super aggressive list that you guys could try. And against the Lee aggro, the Lee combo, all you guys need to do is to rush it down and not allow that Eye of the Dragon to ever fire off, or not allowing them to juggle their Dragon Links, right? So if you guys could, you know, attack with something, Dragon Links block, go for the Noxian Fervor, destroy that creature, go into the Nexus. It just does 3 direct damage as well, and at the same time you're denying 2 points of heal, and he has to find another 2 more spells to spawn another Dragon Link for himself as well. So that is one of the method that you guys could juggle, or, you know, Make It Rain could also destroy the Dragon Link as well. So, you know, you have to, if you guys could manage to find a way to juggle these creatures and try to avoid the healing from the Dragon Link itself, yo, you guys got the win in your pocket just like that. Alright, so coming in next, we are moving on into tier A. And opening off, we have Ash Shadwani. So this deck is probably one of the better deck to be dealing with, to be able to deal with the Zed Lee Sin combo. And you know, it's still a really, it is still our old school Ash Shadwani, but however, dropping down 1 copy of Shadwani, adding 1 copies of Trundle as well. So Trundle is still a good card to be played, right? If you ever have a flip Trundle on your board, and it is gonna be insane, right? And also with the Ice Pillar, you could target the strongest enemy being vulnerable, and with if your opponent's strongest enemy is, if you're playing against the Z list, opponent's strongest enemy is likely to be a Lee Sin, right? It's gonna be a Lee Sin, and your Lee Sin will be vulnerable every single turn, and you guys could kill the Lee Sin off with these huge creatures in your arsenal as well. So 2 copies of Omen Hawk, 3 copies of Everson Sentry, and 3 copies of Icefield Archer, 3 copies of Trafarian Glory Seeker. So here we see your early game is lots of small little creatures. It enables Omen Hawk, enables buff, Sentry enables draws, Icefield Archer enables control against, like, you know, really very strong decks, like aggressive decks like Pirate Aggro. Freezing an Iron Ballista over here could be huge, you know, preventing up to 4 damage with just the Icefield Archer, and also not allowing him to go into combat, and you get to stall another turn and you get the win just like that. 3 copies of Trafarian Glory Seeker. This is, you know, with this you could get rid of things like the Eye of the Dragon, or like TF, Zap Spray Fiend, and yeah, mainly like these are like the more interesting creatures that you like, more valuable traits that you guys could take it off. And, you know, Trafarian Glory Seeker does what it does. And also Everson Trapper, right? Creating another Yeti. So it's basically a what, 4 mana, 8/8 Everson Trapper. And what else to say? This is just a really good card to be playing in this deck. Rimfang Oof, right? So this is a new addition into the list. So with the amount of freeze that you have, right, cooking a challenging a Lee Sin into the Rimfang Oof, giving it a flash freeze or harsh winds onto the Lee Sin, bringing it down to 0 attack. The Rimfang Oof could just kill it, irregardless if Lee has the barrier on him or not, right? And also 3 copies of Everson Halfguard to buff your field, Trifarian Assessor to draw as much as trillion cards as possible, since everything in your deck is probably going to be more than 5 attack once the Halfguard or the Omen Hawk drops down, and also Captain Pharaon for there to close off the game. Brittle Steel, Trifarian Glory Seeker combo off with Brittle Steel will be really good for trades. Cho-chan, probably the best card in Fiora right now. Why not just play it? Culling Strike, Flash Freeze into Culling Strike. You can kill off a Lee Sin as well. Flash Freeze for freeze purposes. Fury of the North for the additional push for lethal. Harsh Winds, more freeze, and also Reckoning here to gain control of the board. So this is the deck that I would recommend if you guys are having a little bit more trouble with Lee, and this is probably the best deck to deal with Lee. But however, against decks like Aggro, it might not fare very well based on the win rates provided. So next, on here A, we have Shan Fiora. So basically this is a barrier focused list, right? So this list has been around, basically playing around with barrier with Shan, and also Green Glade Caretaker, making it the biggest creature that you can ever make. Bright Steel Protector is an enabler to allow Shan to get level up really fast, and also with stacked together with Fleet Feather Tracker, you guys can get really good trades. River Shaper, draw you every spell in your arsenal that you will always have answers for your opponent. Screeching Dragon, what else to say? It's a challenger unit's Fury 4/5. It's a very dangerous stat line, and it's just strong. It's just one of a really strong Demacia card to be playing. Genevieve, Challenger Scouts as well for the additional push. Bright Steel Formation for that finale with Shan. And here comes the spells over here. Single Combat, Relentless Pursuit, Deny, Repose, Spirit Refuge, and Concerted Strike. So Concerted Strike and Single Combat is very strong in this particular deck. And also with the addition of Repose and Spirit Refuge, you guys could play lots of combat tricks and playing out good trades and cheesing valuable trade from this particular deck, especially when your creatures are so strong. And also with Relentless Pursuit to finish off the game, Bright Steel Formation into Relentless Pursuit, it will likely close the game for you as well. So this is the Barrier Shan Fiora list that is fairly straightforward. And let's move on. The next one, we have TFGP Aggro. So this is another variation of the Pirate Aggro, and this is more creature and plunder and net focus, right? So it's fairly straightforward, with 3 copies of TF and GP, Jagged Butcher, Black Market Merchant, Dreadway Deckhand, Petty Officer, Yoda Grifter, Zap Sprayfins, and Riptide Rex. So it's our old school Riptide Rex kind of deck, right? Play survive until turn 8, drop that Riptide Rex, clear the board, finish the game just like that. 2 copies of Parley, 3 copies of Flock, Make It Rain, Death's Hand, and also Pilfered Goods, and at the same time gaining value out of your opponent deck, nabbing them off their cards, and from there using their game plan against them, and also denying them from their initial game plan. So yeah, so this is the deck that you guys could try if you guys are into the nabbing mechanics, or you feel that you guys really enjoy stealing cards from your opponent. This is the deck to look out for. Next up, we have War Mother Control that actually dropped off from our the previous meta as well. War Mother Control has been really dominating the last few meta, and here we are back with this variation, a new variation of War Mother Control, and this deck is actually made by Stan as well. Trundle and Tryndamere, needless to say, the amount of overwhelm damage is going to be insane. So basically the gist of this whole deck is to go for the War Mother's Control, right? Survive until maybe turn 9, go for the War Mother's Call, and then start gaining advantage with the creatures that the War Mothers provide. And if it comes with a Tryndamere has 2 lives, and things like Trundle, if a level up Trundle hits the board, it's gonna be very scary. Alright, so with the Trundle on the board as well, opponents with the Ice Pillar with it as well, it could gain one opponent's creature could gain vulnerable, and the Trundle could, you know, just hook it up, go for the attack. And especially with the level up with Overwhelm and Regeneration as well, Trundle will always get the upper hand in terms of trade. And also, you know, we have Winding Stone for ramp, Everenser Halfguard for buff. Everenser Halfguard could buff the rest of the deck as well. Rekindler, so War Mother's Call, calling out Rekindler, you could re-summon your Trundle or Tryndamere as well. So the value for the Rekindler is super duper high. And also Commander Ledros, so summoning the Commander Ledros into play, even if it dies, is okay. Dropping it down, once again cutting your opponent's health into half, and you know, you do your thing. So basically Ledros is a very good card against Mirror, and if you are facing lots of War Mother control, Ledros is the card that you are actually looking out to call. And over here we have the spell is Tons of Control, right? Basically you have to survive until turn 8 to call for the War Mother's Call. And you have Trochan, Unspeakable Horror, Valfeast, Miscall. Miscall could bring something valuable back that died that particular turn. Avalanche to control against your those Belchwater deck. Catalyst of Aeon to survive and at the same time have giving you ramp. Grasp of the Undying, survive and removal. Survive and removal with the Ringwheel Atrocity, throwing a 9 attack Ledros into your opponent's Nexus. Why not, right? And also if a Trundle ever becomes huge, Atrocity is the card to be playing. Vengeance for creature control if you can't deal with your opponent GP, or you know, the Lee Sin, go for the Vengeance, but however be careful, or Bastion if you are going for a Vengeance like that. Ruination to clear the board as well, board control, and last but not least War Mother's Call. So this is a very straightforward War Mother's Control, so I guess like this is the best variation in my opinion to be running, and especially when there are lots of variations, especially when there are like She Who Wonders and things like that. So this is the deck that you guys should be trying, and I feel like this variation is one of the stronger variation in my opinion. Right, and last, coming in tier A, we got the Mind Splitter Control, basically Trundle ASO, and you know, Everescent Sentries, Throw Scavenger, Tavern Keeper, and the Stones for Ram. What am I saying? This card is just great in general by itself, right? Pick 2 enemies, stun them every single turn so long Infinite Mind Splitter is alive, and at the same time it adds 8 additional stats into Aurelion Soul. But however, with the nerf of Aurelion Soul level up condition becoming 25, it's going to be slightly more tricky to level up itself. But however, you know, Aurelion Soul itself is 10, and then there is like Mind Splitter for 8. If you have like Trundle, or you know, yeah, basically Trundle or Tiny Tavern Keeper, or even any other Celestials that could allow Aurelion Soul to level up, you could get that particular game plan. But however, with the Mind Splitter on the board, that's basically how you gain the control. And also you know, you have Guiding Touch and Revitalizing Roar for healing as well. So Revitalizing Roar onto Aurelion Soul on turn 10, you could get a free Aurelion Soul and at the same time healing 10 damage as well. Catalyst of Aeon to get your Ram, Avalanche for board control, Hush for creature control. So anything funky they're trying to do, hush it, get a good trade with one of your creatures, and voila, there you have it, right? Flash Feast, it enables you to have good trade. Dragon Clutch to draw for the Mind Splitter as well. Trochan for a little bit more defense. So yeah, so you know, this deck is a very control kind of deck, I would say. And if you guys, you know, would like to play games that are slightly slower and allowing yourself and say, hey, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that, if you find joy in that kind of like style, this is the deck that you guys should try. Or the War Mother Control is pretty okay as well. Right, so we sum up tier A, and moving on to tier B. So these are still kind of great cards, kind of great decks, but they are not exactly performing really well due to the meta structure right now. First off, we have the Knight for Aggro, Diana Nocturne. So this style has been really strong ever since the release of Nightfall, right? Like the Targan set, and especially with the new buff on the Mountain Goat, I believe this deck still has a place in the meta, but it's not as popular right now. Right, it basically take advantage of the fearsome tech coming in from Nocturne, and also having a flip Nocturne on board, giving everything else fearsome, allowing your opponent to have lesser chance to block your creatures. So this is a very unit focused kind of style kind of deck, and also ending the game with Sickness as well, or Doom Beast. You could even end off the game with draining your opponent for millions of life with Doom Beast, especially with the help of Stalking Shadows and also Fading Memories. So Lunari Dustbringer allows you to create Dust Petals, which enables your Nightfall triggers easily. Solaris Soldier this is probably the best one drop in the game right now. Stygian Onlooker, Nightfall, give me Fearsome +2 attack. It's a 4/1 with Fearsome. Yo, this card is basically unstoppable on turn 3, right? And also Lunari Shade Stalker, Elusive Target, Mountain Goat providing gems. So with the new buff on Mountain Goat, it's too strong to be not played. And with the gem, you guys could heal one of your creatures, and at the same time, you guys could even buff something that your opponent has no way to deal with it as well. Crescent Guardian pushing extra damage with the Overwhelm text. Doom Beast. Do I even need to explain what Doom Beast does? This card is insane, right? And also Sickness to close off the game. Coming in, we have Behold the Infinite, Pale Cascade, Fading Memories, Stalking Shadow, and Unspeakable Horror. If you guys notice, the rest of the spells are all burst speed, so it enables you to go for the Nightfall immediately, especially with the amount of burst speed spell that he has. And also Unspeakable Horror, it could deal 1 damage to any creature or the Nexus itself. So this card is really flexible, and it enables you to get another copy of a Nightfall creature, which could potentially be anything from this particular list as well. So yeah, you are basically playing more than 3 copies of one of the cards over here with the Unspeakable Horror. So this is the deck that you guys could try if you guys would like to play something more spicy with Fearsome on it. And last but not least, in tier B, we have Casino Aggro. So this is some people call it Discard Aggro, I call it Casino Aggro. So it basically revolves around Twisted Fate and Jinx. Leveling up Twisted Fate as fast as possible, having Twisted Fate on board, clearing your hand, having Jinx, and Jinx consistently will draw you 2 cards per turn. Twisted Fate will be leveled up much more faster in a sense. And also with the addition of the buff Jagged Taskmaster, Plunder, grant 1 allies everywhere, plus 1 cost ally everywhere, +1/+0. This is insane. You have the Astute Academic, Jagged Butcher, and Zerg Knight Urchin. With the Taskmaster, it enables 9 cards, buffing of 9 cards in your deck, and it's gonna be huge and insane, right? Petty Officer is a tempo card as well. Slotbot, with the draws coming in from the TF and pick a card, and also Jinx, you have things like Rummage. Slotbot is there to stay, right? Especially lots of buff coming in. So Poro Cannon, you can turn 0. You can go for a turn 1 elusive Poro Cannon into Daring Poro or something like that. So Poro Cannon is a very good way to enable yourself to be very aggressive during turn 1, and at the same time, it could level up Jinx even faster if you guys have Poro Cannon in your hand. Jury Rig, Poro Cannon into Jury Rig. What's there to say? Rummage, right? Rummage gets Twisted Fate level up faster, and also Slotbot, and it level up Jinx faster as well, clearing your board, clearing your hand if you have Jinx on board, and just clearing everything off with Rummage leveling up Jinx. Rummage is just too high of the value, and it enables you to draw deeper into your deck to allow yourself to have more options. Make It Rain, best card in the Belchwater format right now. Get Excited. It's just a very good direct removal, and also pick a card, tag together with Twisted Fate. It's gonna be insane. You get to level up Twisted Fate really quickly, and at the same time, if the last card in your hand is something else, pick a card, empty your hand, Jinx could level it up as well. So the amount of synergy that this deck actually has, and you know, you guys get to see and draw so much more cards with Rummage and Pick a Card. I see no reason why this deck is not that great, but you know, it's not exactly winning a lot in the meta right now, especially with really aggressive decks like Pirate Aggro and Lee Sin around. So this deck is probably a little too slow for the meta, but if you guys could pull it off, this is a very strong deck. You know, you guys should really watch out for this particular deck as well. And yeah, that's it for tier B. So you know, something that you guys I would like to put in my meta spreadsheet is this spicy and kinky, right? So this is something that I have been playing, and I feel like this, if you guys would like to play something fun and not so serious, this is the deck. And I feel this is probably the best Teemo deck right now in the meta. And it's got Teemo Vi and it's PNC Targan, you know, with Lunari, Shadestalker, Mountain Goat, Mentor of the Stone, Puffcat Peddler, Chamwam, Sub Percival, and also Cygnus. So think about this: if you could ever get a 10-10 Vi, a 10 attack Vi, you stack it up with a Cygnus, you guys got a 10 attack elusive just with the Vi itself. So you know, this is what the Cygnus is for, you know. And also with the Gems and Mentor, you could bring a Vi up to 10 attack even faster, and you have things like Pale Cascade and Bastion to and Zenith Blade to enable you to get there faster. And also if you could pull off a Zenith Blade into the Vi, it's gonna be so insane. So this is a deck that I have been like playing, and I really enjoyed it. Because I feel like this is the best variation of Teemo, and when I say Teemo, I have been playing like whatever variation that's out there, and this is the best variation of Teemo decks right now. If you guys really love some Puffcap action, this is the deck to try, and especially with, you know, you are abusing Bastion, you are abusing Pure Cascade, and you're abusing Zenith Blade as well, right? With an Evolved Vi, you could deal additional 5 damage while striking attacking with Vi, and also you still have that additional overwhelm damage from the Zenith Blade as well to push, and your opponent is basically dead with this, right? So yeah, so this is the best Teemo deck in my opinion right now, and if you guys would like to try some Puffcap action, this is the deck to try. And last but not least, you know, we are going back old school. This deck is created by one of our SEA best players, Zero Infinity, and you know, this is basically elusive with the added of Mountain Goat and Mentor of the Stones. What else is there to say about this list? This is a very straightforward elusive list, and it in the meta right now, I don't believe there are lots of like ways to deal with elusive. So this is the one of the better way that you guys could cheat some wins. So if you guys, you know, would like to try or miss the elusive meta back then, this is the deck to look out for. And Zero Infinity actually went unbeatable on his stream with this particular list as well. So yeah, you know, if you guys would like to try, this is the deck to try out, and I hope you guys had a great time with this particular deck as well. So yes guys, so we have come to the end of the meta snapshot. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that, you know, this video is very educational, and you know, you guys help you guys in one way or another. All the link and description is all down below on the description as well, so you guys could access to all these materials just by a click of a button. Right, so thanks so much for joining me. I stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sundays. I play Legends of Runeterra on my Twitch as well, so do join me on my stream for such for this content. So thanks so much for supporting. Do not forget to click on the subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next meta snapshot or on my stream as well. So once again, it's MoonBoy blasting off. See you guys. Bye bye.